I ran for officer when I was in my first year. So I ran for CCW Officer when I was in my first year, and then Wimbledon Officer when I was in my second year. I guess my main goal was to make SU a bit more local for students, because if you were like me, in Wimbledon, you were the farthest away from Holborn, and sometimes that felt like you were a bit disconnected from the SU. And so one of my main goals was to do more local events in each of the colleges. My biggest challenge during the campaign was going up to people, especially because when I first campaigned, I was in my first year and I didn't know anybody and I wasn't very confident, and it just felt really rude to go up to people while they were eating their lunch to talk about myself. So I ended up going up to people with a box of donuts, and I ended up having some really great conversations about the things that we could do to improve the colleges and the things we could do to improve student experience. So yeah, the donuts were a big hit. When I was a CCW officer, my biggest challenge was trying to give each of the colleges my equal attention, because since I was from Wimbledon, I could do a lot more for Wimbledon, and I understood Wimbledon's problems much better compared to that of Camberwell and Chelsea. And even though we did a lot of events in the other colleges as well, I always felt like each of the colleges deserved their own officer, which is why we split the role. And then the year after that, I was the Wimbledon officer. And that year came with its own challenges, because then I was in my third year and I was writing my dissertation and doing my final project and trying to juggle fundraising for my degree show with being an officer. But I always had a lot of support from the SU, and my college coordinators were always absolutely on top of their job, which made my life very easy. And I was always just very supported. I learned loads during my time at the SU. I became more confident, I became more eloquent, I had a better understanding of how universities worked, had better understanding of who did what in different departments, and that made my work smoother when I was trying to put up events. And I definitely improved on my people skills a lot. That was definitely the biggest skill that I picked up. And the SU was really good with the workshops that they arranged. Like this one workshop really stuck with me, that we did about privilege, and we all lined up. Scarlett did it, she was the welfare officer at that point, and we all had to take a step forward or a step back depending on whether you were white, whether you were male, whether you had had access to good education or not, the kind of background you come from. So all these different questions that made you question the privileges that you've had in your life. And that's just one example of the different workshops that the SU did to get us to think about different issues like race, gender, sexuality. And these are the things that I think everybody should get educated in, because it was life-changing for me, and I'm really thankful for the SU for that.